Yeah.
So I think it is the most challenging and the most fulfilling.
Yeah. That's true.
It's also the most like motivating to become like a professional boxer or something. Because the rage fits come. They come. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. Today is January 10th. We are still seekers crossing the veil in the month of January, the month between worlds. Still in the middle of winter with all of our soulmates, inward work, transformation. Today is week 2, the crossing, and it is the test. So for today, it is all about the test, and the theme is trials. Our 4 stories come from Greek, Tibetan, West African, and Norse folklore. So enjoy these stories. We'll see you after. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. The Labors of Hercules. Before he was remembered as a hero, Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, was a man undone by his own strength. Born of Zeus and the mortal Alcmene, Heracles carried divine power in a human body. That power did not make his life easier. It made it dangerous. His strength was uncontrollable, his temper fierce. His fate shaped by forces far beyond his choosing. When madness, sent by the goddess Hera, overtook him, Heracles committed an unforgivable act. When clarity returned, he did not flee from what he had done. He sought atonement. The oracle commanded him to serve King Eurystheus, a weaker man who feared him. From his imbalance came the test that would define Heracles' life. 12 labors, each meant not to showcase strength, but to break it open. The first trials seemed simple. Slay the Nemean lion whose hide could not be pierced. Destroy the many-headed hydra whose wounds multiplied when struck. But each task revealed a deeper truth. Brute force alone was insufficient. Heracles had to learn patience, strategy, humility, and restraint. Some labors humiliated him. Cleaning the Aegean stables was not glorious. Serving others was part of the test. Others stripped him of certainty. The Cyrenian hide could not be harmed. He had to pursue without conquest. The later labors pushed him beyond the known world. He descended into the underworld to retrieve Cerberus, not by killing, but by facing death itself without weapons. Each trial pressed against a different limit: fear, pride, endurance, mercy. The labors were not punishments. They were revelations. With every test, Heracles confronted something blocking him: rage, arrogance, despair. the illusion that strength alone defines worth. The tasks did not erase his past, they reshaped his future. In Greek understanding, trials were not obstacles on the path, they were the path. A hero was not someone spared from pressure, but someone refined by it. Heracles emerged changed, not because he succeeded every time, but because he stayed. The test did not destroy him, it revealed him. Story 2: The Mountain Trials. In the high places of the Himalayas, the test does not announce itself. It waits. Tibetan stories tell that the mountains are not obstacles to be conquered, but teachers that reveal what a traveler carries within. The peaks are alive with presence. Wind, cold, thin air, and silence strip away pretense faster than any blade. In these traditions, seekers do not go to the mountains to prove strength. They go to be undone. A traveler begins the ascent carrying supplies, prayers, and intention. At lower elevations, the body cooperates. Breath is steady. Thought is confident. But as the climb continues, the mountain begins its work. Air thins. Sleep becomes shallow. Hunger sharpens. The mind, deprived of comfort, grows loud. Fear surfaces first, then impatience, then doubt. In Tibetan understanding, these are not failures. They are revelations. The mountain does not create fear. It exposes it. The test is not the cold, or the height, or the distance. The test is whether the traveler can remain present when all distractions fall away. Some stories tell of monks sent alone into the mountains to meditate for months or years. Others speak of pilgrims circumambulating sacred peaks step by step, sometimes prostrating fully with each movement. The journey is slow, painful, unavoidable. Turning back is always an option. But those who do not turn back learn something essential. The mountain does not respond to force. It responds to humility, to pace, to listening. The greatest trial comes when the traveler realizes there is no dramatic moment of victory, no summit revelation that solves everything. The truth revealed is quieter. You cannot rush clarity. You cannot overpower fear. And you cannot cheat endurance. The mountain teaches by pressure alone. In Tibetan thought, enlightenment is not a lightning strike. It is a gradual stripping away. The mountain removes what cannot survive thin air. What remains is what is real. Those who descend return changed, not because they conquered the mountain, but because they met themselves without shelter. The test was never the climb. It was what rose inside when escape disappeared. Story 3: Anansi's Test. Anansi was never the strongest in the room. He was not the tallest, the bravest, or the most honorable. He did not win battles through force or endurance, and yet his stories endure because his trials reveal a different truth. Cleverness is also a burden. Anansi the spider appears across West African storytelling as a trickster, a teacher, and a warning. He is small, he is quick, he is endlessly curious, and he is often the cause of his own trouble. In one of the oldest tellings, Anansi desired to possess all the stories of the world. At that time, stories belonged to Niame, the sky god. Anansi climbed to the sky and demanded them. Niame laughed, for Anansi was insignificant compared to the task. But instead of refusing outright, Niame set a test. Anansi would have to capture creatures that embodied fear itself: the leopard, the hornets, and the great python. Each creature represented something Anansi lacked: strength, numbers, power. Anansi succeeded not by force, but by deception. He tricked the leopard into a pit. He fooled the hornets with a false storm. He measured the python by provoking it into stillness. When Anansi returned triumphant, Niami gave him the stories. But the test did not end there. Once Anansi possessed the stories, he became responsible for them. His cleverness no longer belonged only to himself. Every trick carried consequence. Every deception echoed outward. The test revealed not only his ability, but his weakness, pride. In other Anansi's tales, his cleverness backfires. He outwits himself. He causes harm he cannot undo. He learns, painfully, that intelligence without wisdom becomes a trap. The test Anansi faces again and again is not whether he can succeed. It is whether he can be trusted with success. In West African tradition, Anansi's stories were not told to glorify cunning alone. They were told to show how fear, ambition, and cleverness intertwine. The trickster survives trials not because he is pure, but because he adapts. Anansi's trials reveal that what blocks a person is often the very trait they rely on most. Cleverness becomes arrogance. Confidence becomes recklessness. Survival becomes selfishness. The test exposes the line, and Anansi crosses it often enough for the lesson to remain alive. Story 4. Odin on Yggdrasil. Odin did not face his greatest test as a warrior. He faced it alone. In the old Norse telling, Odin, the Allfather, god of wisdom, poetry, and war, understood a truth that terrified even the gods. Knowledge does not come without cost. Power taken without sacrifice is shallow. Wisdom demanded something deeper. So Odin chose his own trial. He went to Yggdrasil, the great world tree that binds the 9 worlds together. Its roots reached into realms of gods, giants, the dead, and the unborn. It was not a place of safety. It was a place of exposure. There, Odin pierced himself with his own spear, Gungnir, and hung himself from the tree. Not for a night, not for a test of endurance, for 9 days and 9 nights. No food, no water, no comfort, no rescue. He hung between worlds, suspended in pain, staring into the depths below and the branches above. He was neither fully alive nor fully dead. Wind tore at him. Ravens circled. Silence pressed in. No one helped him. That was the point. In Norse understanding, this was not punishment. It was initiation. Odin was offering himself to himself. He sacrificed certainty, control, and physical safety to gain access to deeper knowing. As the days passed, hallucination and clarity blurred. Pain stripped away illusion. The mind, starved of distraction, turned inward. On the brink of collapse, Odin saw them. The runes. They did not appear as gifts. They rose from suffering. Symbols of fate, language, and cosmic law revealed themselves only when Odin surrendered everything that blocked him. Pride, fear, even the instinct to survive. He fell from the tree changed. Not healed, not comforted, but awakened. Odin's test teaches that some truths cannot be learned through observation, conquest, or inheritance. They must be paid for in vulnerability. The seeker must be willing to risk destruction without guarantee of reward. In Norse culture, this story warned against easy wisdom. Knowledge taken lightly was dangerous. Wisdom demanded scars. Odin did not hang on Yggdrasil to prove strength. He hung to discover what remained when strength failed. And what remained was truth. Hey everybody, welcome back in. Hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. So, January 10th, the test. Our daily thread is that every culture remembers this moment. Heracles is pressed until strength becomes discipline. The mountain strips the seeker to breath and silence. Anansi learns that cleverness carries consequence. Odin offers himself to suffering to gain wisdom. Each story agrees. Pressure reveals what comfort hides. The test does not create fear, it shows it. Okay, I really liked every single one of the stories today.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed them. We didn't dive obviously deeply into all of the labors of so I was saying we started with Heracles and his 12 labors, but we didn't get super into it.
Right.
So we only heard about a few of them.
When I first started listening to the story, I was like, she's so not saying this the right way. And then until the very next line is like, except for they call him Hercules.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was, I didn't know there was,
Heracles.
I didn't know there was a different pronunciation. So that's cool. I got to learn something today.
I didn't always know that either.
Yeah.
Like that was something like when I started diving into folklore.
Because you taught it, right? And
I
that's
did
where that
teach
thing
it.
you just showed me before we came on.
Yeah. Well, I showed you like folklore when I jumped into
Right.
teaching folklore as one whole class, and then mythology was a separate one. But when I first started learning about this stuff, it was more about the stories and not about the pronunciations. Like, and that's a huge thing because the pronunciation of these words is the culture.
Yeah.
Like, no, that word belongs to that culture still, you know? And this was actually the name that made me start like learning how to pronounce them as close to the original telling as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually had a student mention it to me once, you know, because there are some kids that are, I had a student that was super into it in like elementary school. And he just told me one day, like just running down the hall, like that was just a fact that he learned. And I was like, wow. Okay.
How to pronunciate that name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just that excited.
Yeah.
And then that caused you.
Do you remember being that young and like being excited about things and then you learn facts?
Oh, so wait, you weren't a teacher, you were a student.
No, I was
were a
a
little kid?
teacher.
Oh, wait.
No, I was a teacher,
Okay.
but I was teaching elementary level at that time. So I wasn't teaching mythology or folklore or anything.
Okay.
So yeah, he just came and ran by and said that it was just cute, you know, being that age and you know those facts. Like interesting things like
He
that.
just ran by you and just randomly said,
Well, no, I'm sure he like actually just walked by. I don't remember the exact
Whoa.
situation. But yeah, it's when you teach elementary
Hercules,
kids,
not Hercules.
you get used to them just like walking up and spewing facts.
Yeah.
Then you teach middle school and they just spew like their opinions. And you're like, it's like cool. Like at least the facts were like, you learn a little bit.
Yeah.
You learn about the opinions, but
I heard it's one of the hardest to teach.
I think it's the hardest to teach because they're learning themselves.
Right.
What their limits are, what their morals are, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it is the most challenging and the most fulfilling.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's also the most like motivating to become like a professional boxer or something because the rage fits come.
So what other stories do we have? We had a spider one. That one was fun.
The spider one? So that one was the cleverness. Yeah, the West African one.
Yeah, what I really liked is the end of the story. And it says, like, what was it? Like they couldn't trust him if he won. What was that line?
Yeah, because I watched
Can you find that?
your the way that you reacted to that one. I liked the
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Could they trust him to?
Yeah, so it was the test Anansi faces again and again is not whether he can succeed. It is whether he can be trusted with success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we were listening back to that, I could feel your energy shift. You were like, Yeah. That's the thing is
Some people, some things,
they'll find any way to succeed,
and they will, and they're
any
good at
way to get to the
succeeding.
top,
But once they get there,
and the way that they got there.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I liked that. So the test was just exposing that line. I really liked the part in that story specifically. When did you think of the dangers of relying on that specific trait you have? Like he was relying on his cleverness, like the dangers of using your strongest character or personality trait, like the dangers of using that too much. So it says Anansi's trials reveal that what blocks a person is often the very trait they rely on most.
Isn't that kinda, yeah, I remember listening to that part and being like, "Ooh, I like that one too." Because imagine being totally open. What's that look like? What's that feel like, you know? And then you gotta start thinking, "Man, what do I use a lot that if I stopped, hmm, magical things could happen," you know? What does that look like?
These stories were told for a reason. They hold a lot of truth,
Right,
a lot of our backstories, all these things that used to be told all the time, like as the lessons. Like that's why
right.
it's folklore. It's what they used, their teachings, their stories, what they used. So all about that spider, Anansi's tests were all about accountability. So is intelligence alone enough?
Right,
And when does wisdom start to temper it? Because it's not always about being the smartest in the room or voicing your smartest in the room.
right.
Sometimes it is analyzing the different perspectives. And then,
Well, that's what makes good leaders, though, is not ones that say, "I know everything and I know the best." Because if you know everything and you know you're done. You're not. I'm sorry. At
yeah,
that point, you're not, and you never will be, ever. The greatest are like the Odin story. He's giving up, he's sacrificing so he can get more, but yet he's making a sacrifice to get more, not just being like, "Oh, give me more, I'm gonna take more." You know? He's yin yang 100%. Like, that's what I got from that story today.
and
And I
it's yin
didn't mean
yang.
to, like, jump into a new story off, but, like, that's what's cool about these stories is you're able to just take this one and just mold it right into the next one,
Yeah, well,
It
that's the
just
point of
flows
them,
into it, and
right?
that's what I like about it, yeah.
Yeah, is that they all come together to help you start talking, and then the more you talk about it, the more you realize which ones you're connecting to.
Right.
Because, "Oh, that makes me think this."
Yeah.
Oh, but going back to that one, yeah, I looked up so my interpretation of sacrificing himself to himself,
Mhm.
I mean, I told you before I looked it up,
Yeah.
um, was that I interpreted it as he was physically sacrificing himself
Yeah.
for his intellect. Like he was sacrificing his physical body for something within himself. That's what I took it as. So I looked it up and it actually means like a number of things. So number 1, there is no outside savior. So he's not asking anyone else for wisdom, no one to rescue him. That's not the point. So he is the sacrifice and the one receiving the reward from the sacrifice.
Mm.
Well, it's not really a reward, but it's an initiation. So so
Well,
that
yeah, because gods would want a sacrifice for them, right? Like, the Mayans would sacrifice for whatever
but
god
it's
they
like
needed
he's
to,
not sacrificing to gods, he's
No, he to
sacrificing to
himself,
life.
right.
Yeah.
But, like, he's like, "This is what I'm gonna do," and, like, he's the god getting that reward. I mean, because you said he's getting the reward, So he's sacrificing to himself? Like,
Yeah, it means no one else can do it for him. He must do it for himself.
and I think that's just a true, like, when people say you need to kill your ego, and your
Yeah,
pride
it was the death
is
of his
like
old self.
yeah, you're like, honestly, that's almost like that's probably like a plant medicine journey right there to me. Like, that's totally what it's
Oh my
giving me
gosh,
right
yeah,
now.
like you are on the tree for those 9 days.
Man.
Like how those kids had that effect where they were that milestone and stuff. Could you imagine
Yeah.
being that? Yeah, because you are, I mean, that's the threshold, being between life and death, the gods and humans, fate, choice,
Mm,
all of that hanging from that tree. So, the biggest idea with Odin's is that wisdom demands pain. Like, I really liked that when I was looking back through what that sacrifice meant and seeing like wisdom demands pain is very interesting because that in itself means what we talked about the other day. You don't have to be the oldest person in the room to be the
right.
wisest person in the room. And that
There's a
doesn't mean
lot of
that you
times.
you that have suffered the most pain are the wisest either, though.
Right,
You know, you had to have gained wisdom from it. But it's all about that wisdom costs something real.
right.
Like you will not be able to be the same person. You will not be capable of being that same person anymore.
Right.
And I like that. Going back to the Tibetan one, the sustained pressure was what it was about. What is your endurance through that constant pressure rather than straight confrontation? You know, the trials, the mountain isn't there to break the seeker, it's there to remove illusions through that pressure. And I just really, really liked it. It's like what you carry up here is all you need. That's real.
Yeah.
What you have that got you to the top, that's real. Like you are shedding your illusions of I can't. I won't be able to. I'm exhausted. My body, whatever. If I mean, I can't even imagine what it would feel like to go to that top.
But you have to.
Mm.
If you're trying to manifest it, you have to feel like you're already there. You gotta embody it.
Isn't that I think we saw something where was it on Gaia? The guy did that walk, but he did it the opposite way because he was told to. That was one of his paths he was led on. I'm pretty sure it was the Himalayas.
Probably.
He got told to go to the pyramids because he's
Mhm.
connecting his past lives. And he was
Right.
told to go here, 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 but he went to a mountain somewhere and they were walking one direction. He was like, no, I was told to walk the opposite. And they're like, "Oh, only like people of the ancient tribe, like,
Right. Walked that way. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
now I kinda yeah.
Okay, so in this same Tibetan story, that you cannot overpower fear and you cannot cheat endurance. What did you
Yeah.
think about that?
I liked it, it's just truth, and you can't
Yeah, you can ignore your fear.
yeah,
You can mask your fear. You can trick your fear, but you can't overpower it.
right? It's just you have to accept it.
It's going to be there until it's not. So, with all of that in mind, the lesson of today was that pressure shows truth. So, a couple things he didn't mention. Hercules stayed. Like, he did those unspeakable acts and he stayed through the trials that cause humility, all of that stuff. The Tibetan trials, those people pursued through that. And then on Anansi's was all about identifying your strengths and not overusing them. So that wisdom and stuff. And then Odin's is that willingness to sacrifice yourself for
Right,
yourself.
right.
So with all of those in mind, the reflection of today is what blocks you. So what blocks me? What blocks you?
Fear.
Fear, maybe. Fear would be a good one. I think pride a lot of the time is a pretty big stopper on everybody. You know, everyone has their own version of what pride looks like, but that's definitely fun.
I honestly think mine's always been fear. Like, not like, ooh, I'm scared of it, but like that fear mongering, like, you can't do this because XYZ. Like, you're not allowed to do it because it's like that. It was the fear that's built into us that we're not allowed to do it because it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's not true.
And if
So
you
how dare you believe it? So
and if you don't get like a reward right away,
yeah, then what's
if you don't see that right away,
yeah,
it's not going to work.
right. And I think that was what I always had. I'm getting rid of that.
I would say like pride is definitely one for me. And I was just thinking of the other one. I would say my wit, because sometimes I've already won the battle in my head over an interaction that has not happened yet. So I'm already going in with preconceived notions of
Yeah.
like how the like behavior I'm going to get towards me and the attitude and stuff, that I come off with that attitude, that very attitude that provokes it.
That's one thing is when I get into some arguments, I allow myself to get too heated, to where then I start losing, not because they're better, but because I'm beating myself. You can win an argument and not win it because you've said some really mean stuff.
Right.
Like that doesn't, to me, that's not winning. Like winning is like winning a debate. Like I said some facts.
Okay, so then today, I'm excited to see this then from you, because you said your biggest blocker was fear.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the exercise today is actually to name one fear today. So you're going to name it to remove its power through recognition. So by recognizing I am afraid of this, I'm removing that power the fear has of me. It's not gone, but it no longer holds power over me because I see you. I acknowledge you, but I don't need to worry about it right now.
I can feel it
Yeah, it
right
feels
here,
good,
right now. I
yeah?
can feel just thinking about those, like that. Which chakra is this?
Your solar plexus?
Yeah,
That's my favorite one.
I feel it right there.
That so you get to name it, write it down, name it. I would just say speak it. Like I recognize I'm afraid of boom. And then it's like everybody that says they're not afraid of stuff. I truly believe everyone that says that, the first thing you're afraid of is fear itself, because you're afraid to even think about what frightens you, because everyone can be frightened by something. That doesn't mean that you can't overcome it.
Right. And it doesn't mean you're a chicken,
Yeah.
you know?
I think there's more power that comes from people that say, oh yeah, I'm afraid of this, but here I am standing firm in the
Right.
fact that I'm terrified.
This is scary, but like, dude, when you're like, so in those moments, like I know when I've been in moments where I was scared, but my reaction is like, I am just so calm. It's almost scary. Things slow down for me. So it's just like this.
I feel like that in vehicles. Like I've told you that before.
Mhm.
And so I get that. Was that how you were? Like in
Yeah.
your vehicle stuff?
Yeah. Just everything slowed down. And I was like,
Like you just take a breath and you do
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I think that's also a part of like reflexes. Do you have quick reflexes?
When I was doing my white belt, I was told I was very fast. Very quick twitch.
Did you just say you have a quick twitch?
Yeah, quick twitch.
Yeah, it wasn't the white belt. Like they just saw him outside on the street twitching, and they're like, dude, white belt material. They're like, this kid's keeping all the weirdos out of here.
Now
Oh my God. With that in mind, though, when you name that fear today, it's all about every time you face something, it no longer controls you. That's not just fear. Like my immediate thought after those words came out of my mouth was grief.
Yeah.
Grief.
Yeah.
Like being controlled by something is very different than being consumed by something.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, I think that they're very different things. And yeah, fear, grief, what would be another? What's like a happy emotion?
Joy?
Yeah,
mean,
but what
like-
do you think? Do you think that there'd be a happy emotion that would work for too? What you face no longer controls you. I don't think that there would be. That would be like only things
But
stop you
joy
from
doesn't control you, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But you do want, but you strive for it, right?
right.
Like that's what you're going for. So does it?
So the only things that control you are the things that stop you from being happy, stop you
Yeah.
from all the positives.
Well, because I believe the true purpose of life is just to love and be happy, like to like loving everything truly, and not where you're like, oh, I'm choosing to just love this and this. It's like you truly need to be and spread love.
Love would be another good one too, though.
Yeah.
Like, especially with loving people, you can't control them.
Oh.
So, like, if I say, you know what, I love you, what you do bothers me,
Yeah.
but it's stuff that's like little quirks about their personality.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't control me. Like, that irritation doesn't control me
Yeah.
because I'm facing the fact that I love you regardless.
Right.
So I guess that would be how that would work.
Mm.
But yeah, today was all about the test. So we saw trials from abundance of areas, extremes, loss, wisdom, sacrifice. It was pretty good. Tomorrow, assistance arrives. That's all I'm going to say. Tomorrow, assistance arrives. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on Folklore and Flourish, where you see all of our exciting behind the scenes of our Legends Reborn Chronicles, and we grow and heal a little bit more every single day. Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.